while initially Generac on the surface provides what would seem like exceptional service, when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of actually taking care of the customer with replacement of failed parts and or a broken unit, you can't rely on them to stand behind their product. Give you a little history. This is our second Ecogen generator. So the first one we had suffered at about 800 hours. It was puking oil, and they came out multiple times. And over 3 months, I finally got a new unit. So we got the new unit. They said, don't worry, we're going to give you a brand new warranty so you'll have 2 years, 2,000 miles. And here we are last fall, because we live in the Rocky Mountains, so you sort of have to be sure everything's going to work through the winter. And we had the guys come out, they're service technicians that installed it, and replaced the brushes. And at that time, the technician showed me that the brushes stick, like this one right here. You can see how they protrude to different levels. That's caused from the springs inside losing the pressure to put on the contact point. So a couple of other interesting things is you'll notice if you look really close, you could see that there's actually looks like solder right here. So then you can see the silver, and the silver is actually solder. And if you look at the brushes, the first brush there, oops, it's like backwards. You'll see how rough the finish is on the brush, and that's because the slip ring that the brush rides on was very rough. So anyway, during that service last fall, they replaced these brushes, and this is not the brush actually they replaced. These are the ones I just put on. And the guy showed them, and he said, well, look, this is what happens. It's pretty predominant with these units. And so I started reading on it, and it turns out that when the units sit like over the summer, tarnish develops over the slip rings. So instead of being shiny copper, they start looking very brown. And Generac in their own documentation says that this causes resistance. And we know when you try to flow electricity through resistance, it creates heat. And so here about 2 months ago, the generator just stopped working. And I called them, they came up, and they said, well, looks like it has this error. And I said, okay, well, we still have lots of hours left on the warranty, so it should be replaced, whatever it is. So they said, well, let us go check it. So they went back, and they said, well, you've been using your generator too much. And I said, well, it's still under warranty. It's got all these hours left, and it's only a year. Like 800 hours. They said, well, it doesn't matter. When you use it for a lot of hours on a regular basis, that voids your warranty. I said, really? And so I started looking at it, and I took it apart, and these brushes, the ones that I showed you, are the ones I replaced. And my conclusion is that they should have sanded the brushes down when they did the service to eliminate that tarnish and provide good current flow. And so anyway, connect the dots with the tarnish. So we have heat, we have resistance, and we have springs that fail. So the springs get too hot, they lose their ability to apply the pressure. And I sent some emails back and forth, showed them pictures, and trying to be a really hospitable kind of guy, and they just said, that's it, not covered, don't want to talk to you anymore, bye. I said, wow. So hasn't been the best relationships with them. So when I was talking with them the last time, I said, well, I could go out, there's a little bit of irony here, I could go out and buy a small 10, 12 kW shop generator, just a little one for like $1,000. You can buy a little control unit, and I can have it do the same thing that this $5,000 one does. And the irony is, they have no limit on the hours for the warranty. I can buy an extra 2 years, so I could get 5 years unlimited hours. And they basically just give you a new unit if something fails. And it's like, why do people want to buy something if people aren't going to stand behind it like they should? The purpose, my intent is actually to do two things, right? To provide some advice and wisdom so that people will be aware of conditions that can occur when service is performed, and also failures, right? So they can ask that important question: how do the brushes look? How do the slip rings look? And is that going to get me, keep me under the warranty and ensure that it lasts through the entire warranty cycle and beyond? Oh, I think it's really simple. It's sort of relieve the pain and suffering, right? Send your people up here, have them restore the unit, and reimburse me for the expenses that I paid for the components that didn't last the period of time they were supposed to. So the brushes and the service related for the brush. So the $918 or whatever else. And then of course honor the warranty for the remaining 800 hours.